Hear me out. I think he's going to be the next guy. We got to call him in.
Give me Jonathan David and Kyle Larin over Balogun. Like, cook, Jesse. Cook.
Yeah.
Like, you're right. Like, I would take your job over the U.S. job, too, right now. The U.S. Men's National Fraud Squad was back in action with a friendly against Canada and got bammed on. Emphatically bammed on by Jacob Schaffelberg, first of all. Canada had like 11 MLS players. So that's pretty funny.
Yep.
But the main reason I wanted to bring this up was because have you been like following Jesse Marsch's press conferences after the game at all?
Talk about a cooker. Talk about a guy who's in a pressure cooker.
Every time they ask him about like the U.S. job and if there was any like conflict or strife about taking this job or if he wanted the U.S. job, he just goes, no. Like, I don't want that job at all. It's a complete like joke of an organization, basically. I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, I'd like the way it's run. Like, I'm not... I want no part of that. I'm way happier to be here. I feel like this is a better job. Like, I'm vibing with this team. I don't want it at all. And I just think that's so like funny how blunt he is about that. And then I'm also like cook, Jesse. Cook. Like, you're right. Like, I would take your job over the U.S. job too right now.
Yeah.
Team's better.
People have been calling me a traitor on Twitter because I was celebrating Jacob Schaffelberg bamming on a bunch of Euro frauds.
I'm basically a Canada fan at this point.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm basically a converted Canadian.
Like, I like Jesse Marsch. Yeah, like I like Jesse Marsch.
Their team's better. It's more fun.
They're better. They're more fun
strikers.
to watch.
Give me Jonathan David and Kyle Larin over Balogun.
Yeah, all day. And it's like, it's so funny too. Also, like, honestly, watching that match, I thought it was hilarious how poorly Tim Ream played. Tim Ream played like a bot. He played like a Euro bot.
I didn't really watch that much of the game, to be honest.
Well, that's okay. Tim Ream.
This is good punditry.
Tim Ream basically gave away 2 goals,
nice.
And I think that it's funny because it's like, obviously I'm a very pro MLS narrative guy, but the fact that like Charlotte just signed him goes against. But like, I don't count it yet because he hasn't hit 5 matches for Charlotte, so he's technically still a Euro fraud. That's
Tim
my
Ream,
take.
Fulham legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jesse Marsch pressers are funny, and also it's just like, I call them the fraud squad somewhat in jest, but like
they're actually bad.
It's not. It's and you know what's messed up about it is like I really do still think that there is talent in the pool in a way that like we probably haven't had in past generations. But like the idea of them as like a golden generation is almost like laughable to me at this point.
They're fool's gold.
But like one friendly against Canada does not define them. But like when you take into account like the Copa debacle and just the general continually playing below the sum of your parts, I mean, you can blame Berhalter if you want. That's fine. And hope that Pochettino's going to fix everything. Mm-hmm. I just don't, I'm not trying to be any type of way about it. I just don't know if these guys are as good as we all thought they were. Like, I'm really questioning it more than I have in the entire time that I've been following this new generation, which is, we followed their entire come up. And I was a big, like, when they were dominating Nations League, I was as much of a proponent as their upside as anybody.
Balogun made you find God.
Yeah, exactly. We literally did a whole episode where I talk about how he made me find God. And it's really, for me, it's honestly unfortunate how much it's deteriorated, and that's why I joke about it, like to cope,
Yeah, no, so. I agree. And honestly, like, now that I've always despised the USMNT fan base just because of sorry folks, I'm gonna cook here, just because they're annoying and dumb, and like the national team is so incredibly like weird. I don't understand how you could like be a fan of only the national team. It's odd to me. But even more than that, like the fact that they will literally just hate on a player for no good reason and then find some 12-and-a-half-year-old guy who plays in the Netherlands who has his dad has a U.S. passport, and they're like, guys, okay, I made this highlight reel of this 12-and-a-half-year-old, okay? Hear me out. I think he's going to be the next guy. We got to call him in. And then they're like, oh, Jordan Morris having the season of his life. If he ever touches the field, I will commit a crime.
Yeah, well, the bots are their own type of interesting little subculture that they've got going on there. I don't engage with them much, if at all, anymore. I know you still like to poke the hornet's nest from time to time,
a little bit.
but like the one thing that I think, what I would say about that is the kind of saving grace is that like when the national team is not doing well, they get upset, and that's funny.
Yeah, 100%.
That I'm always there for that content.
And also, I'm gonna celebrate if the U.S. do well.
Yes,
I am shameless.
We get to have it both ways. We're gonna have
Correct.
our cake and eat it too in that way.
Correct.
I agree.